When people talk about Lafayette, Louisiana, they talk about the Cajun culture, the charm, the Southern hospitality, and all the wonderful things. They paint it out to be an extremely desirable place to live. Now, don't get me wrong, I live here and I love where I live, but I do think that there are 15 reasons why you may not want to move to Lafayette, and I want to make you guys aware of that today. If you're new here, my name is Abshire, and I love making information about living here in Lafayette. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm born and raised from this area, so you can say I pretty much know the ins and outs of everything from here. But grab a seat, let's get into it. Number one would be the weather extremes. One thing to be aware of is, yes, we have some brutal summers. On average, we average about the 90-degree temperatures throughout summer, 95-ish. I've seen the heat index get well, just depending on if there's any type of heat wave happening. But during the summers, it can get hot, it can get brutal. And on top of that heat temperature, you of course have that very sticky humidity. So it feels somewhat subtropical for the area. So definitely get ready for that. And then also, of course, hurricanes. It is a prone area because we are close to the Gulf. Some hurricanes that have hit have been major, not specifically, none have really bullseyed Lafayette, Louisiana in a long time, but we have seen some hurricanes that still have the outer bands and the effects of still the wind and the storms hitting this area. A couple other things to be aware of with the weather changes is, of course, we do get downpours, and especially in the summer, or different pop-up showers that can happen. So there's always that potential of it can be a flash flood. There was a tropical depression or tropical storm, I think, that had paused at one point back in 2016, and there was a 100-year flood that had happened in this area. Some homes that weren't even in flood zones did flood at that time, just because there was just so much water. It rained for 3 days straight and never stopped, and because of that, it inundated an already saturated area at that time. Now, we haven't seen those types of floods as a regular, but it is just something to be aware of. Lake Charles, which is not far, has had many flood events, so has New Orleans. Flooding can happen in this area. Just keep that in mind. We are pretty low and close to sea level here, so it doesn't take much. Number two would be the local wildlife. So many people wonder about the animals and the creatures and all the little things that you'll find here. Well, we have most of the little wooded creatures that you would expect. I can say I've seen possums and raccoons and things like that, but I haven't really seen a bear strolling through or a deer right through town. You may find a little bunny or two that may wander out from the woods. Some people have on the outskirts seen things such as coyotes, so those things are also possible. But in your backyard, you don't have to fully expect to run into any kind of really wild, dangerous animals. Most of the time, you'll just find little furry critters that may be looking for a snack or two, but they're usually not dangerous. They're scared of you. They'll usually run away. And know to put the rumors aside, you don't really have to worry about gators strolling through your yard or being really close by. They really want to live next to waterways or rivers or anywheres of that nature. Number three would be the Cajun cuisine. It could be an upside or downside, right? We have a lot of Cajun food. A lot of people, it's like, can you handle the heat of Cajun food? Yeah, they'll throw jalapenos and things like that as well, but we have our own seasonings like Tony Chachere's that are famous from this area. We love cayenne pepper, so you can definitely expect for us to turn up the heat on a lot of those dishes. So you will notice there will be some spice and some flavor in a lot of things that you eat. Some of the flavors that we have, they put a lot of salt in different types of seafood and different types of dishes. So if salt is a problem for you, you may need to tell them to cut back on some of that. If you have any kind of dietary adjustments, it might be kind of tough for you. We do have things at most restaurants that I would say cater to gluten-free, because my family, a lot of them are gluten-free. But if you are vegan or a vegetarian, those things I do find a little bit more sparse here. There's not a ton of options for vegans. There are things like Indian food. We have quite a few Indian restaurants that would be an option, and of course they have great vegan options. But as far as the other restaurants, for the most part, they're not really going to cater real well to your taste buds for that. Number four would be the cultural festivals that we have. During festival seasons, we have things such as heavy traffic. There's a lot of tourists that are coming to the area, so you'll find that things will get a lot more clogged up with people. A lot of people do not like during Mardi Gras season. Mardi Gras season tends to last weeks at a time with different things and different festivals and parades happening, the balls that happen, and because of that, you'll find lots of garbage being thrown in the street or different roadways that'll be blocked because of different parade routes, and lots of people flocking in from other areas coming here for Mardi Gras. So it's just something to be aware of, that you might find less hotel rooms available. There's more people on the streets. There can be drunk drivers or people just acting like idiots, of course, just just like anywhere. So just something to keep in mind that our festivals, we work hard, but we do play hard as well. So you can run into those things during those seasons. Number 5 would be the Southern hospitality. Now, some people love it, some people don't love it. They want to keep more to themselves. They don't want to talk about everything about themselves or you to know a lot of their personal business. But Southern hospitality, we know your mama, we know your daddy, we know your family, we probably related somehow or somebody's related to us. We always try to make connections because we feel like it just makes it feel more at home. It can be a tight-knit community in some ways where a lot of people knows everyone. Small town feeling, but bigger city as well. Some people would love the Southern hospitality idea. Some people want to be left alone and would rather not have to deal with that as much. Really, that's going to be up to you whether or not that's a good fit for you, but something to keep in mind. How can you manage the constant social interactions or the Southern hospitality of it? Well, you can either learn how to live with us, or you could just be more of a recluse and be cold. They might see it as, oh, that's strange, but for the most part, I don't think anybody will fault you if you don't fit right in or if you don't want to fit in. That's okay. We're pretty accepting all the way around, but kindness goes a long way. You can just be kind and I think you'll get by just fine. Number 6 would be the educational system. So really, if you look on the national scale, Louisiana is not really up there for having some of the best schools. So really, you have to do a lot of research to find out what your educational options are, especially if you have a family and children. So definitely look on things like niche.com or different websites that you can find that have rated the schools in the area. That will give you some good insight. You can talk to some parents or families that you know from here or from this area to kind of find more information about that. Definitely, if public school systems really don't meet your standard, you may have to pay for a private school or go to some types of charter schools or things like that, which are done by lottery. Could be hard to get into, or you have to be in certain areas to get into those types of schools. So those things are all things to keep in mind. It could be more difficult to find the type of education that you're looking for. Number 7 would be the transportation and the traffic. So Lafayette really, I felt like, was not really designed to handle a large amount of people. And so as it's growing, I will say our traffic has not been very delightful. For a smaller city, we really do have quite a bit of traffic that can get annoying at times. And of course, the transportation, you have to drive by car. Because we don't have public transit, I think that does clog the roadways a lot more. If you go to a suburb like Youngsville, which is very popular, you'll notice they have been putting more roundabouts, but there are some stop signs in some areas, but those roundabouts can get backed up during the morning commutes or in the evening times. So just be aware of where the schools are and where the traffic tends to, build up, and you can always decide to live strategically, or you can just be prepared for what times of the day are the best times to travel so you can avoid some of that traffic. Of course, also too, our infrastructure for the roads, a lot of people learn this very, very quickly, but we don't have great roadways. They don't take good care of them. I would say a lot of the cane trucks and the farmers have torn up a lot of the roads, especially outside of the city. The city's doing better to try to improve the roadways as much as possible, but you still will notice there are potholes. I have definitely been on the back road and hit a pothole with my car and blew a tire. It can definitely happen, so just beware. We don't have the best roadways in the world or in the state, so you will deal with some bumps. I would recommend get a good car with some good tires. Number 8 would be the outdoor activities. Of course, with outdoor activities comes bugs and everything else that you can deal with. We say the real Louisiana bird is supposed to be the pelican, but we say it could be the mosquito because we have lots of them and we have big ones. Just be aware. I do find they attack some people more than others, which is strangely, I don't know if it's blood type or certain things that they're attracted to, but just kind of be aware. Don't wear dark clothing. You can wear a spray when you're outside and that will help. The good thing is that they're seasonal. They are more active in summer, and towards the end of summer they become more heavily active. So there's certain seasons where you'll find that they're much worse, and then there's parts of the season where they're not so bad or where you won't even notice them at all. So just be aware. It's just something to keep in mind. We have other little critters and bugs to deal with too. There are spiders. There's these things that are called June bugs. Love bugs come out and they get all over your car. So just be aware of all those other things that you will have to deal with being in the South and being close to country areas. Number 9 would be the healthcare facilities. Some people might view it as a downfall. We do have 2 large medical systems that I think are super beneficial, but on the downside, if you're looking for really specialized care, cancer treatment centers, or really high-end specialists that come, at the top of the line, then yeah, you likely will not find them here in Lafayette. Some of the best medical care you'll probably find that's nearby is going to be in New Orleans, or you would likely travel to Houston. Houston has a massive medical center. It's about 3.5 hours away, maybe 4 hours if there's some traffic to get to Houston, and that's where you'll find, of course, your top of the line care for all of those things, your more specialized treatment areas and hospitals. But of course, you can get your basic care. You can have your surgeries and different normal things. All can take place here. There's plenty of medical care. I don't want you to feel like it's not going to be here for you. I'm just saying that some of the top tier, bigger city medical medical care, yeah, you won't find that here. You'll find your basic doctors, and you can find your simple treatments that you would need as you begin to age or just in emergency care. Number 10 would be the crime rates. Of course, you know, just like any place, there are good areas of town and there are bad areas of town that are known to have more crime. Again, as a real estate agent, I cannot steer you to certain areas because that is considered illegal. I can only provide you information. So I tell everybody, beautiful ways is the internet has everything you're looking for. You can reach out to our local sheriff's department or police offices, and you can find where are the most call outs and things like that happening. And those will give you good insight as to what is the culture in those areas and the crime rate, and it can help you to decide what's your best areas to live in. I will say our law enforcement has been very, very effective though in trying to stop a lot of these crimes, and they are, you know, ready to come out if there is a problem. I have had various situations that have come up, and they are quick to come to the rescue. If there is anything, they are out patrolling. They are very active and well trained, so you can get care and different things. They are there to protect and serve, and they will help you, but just do your research and you'll find the perfect place for you. Number 11, entertainment options. And so some people may think, you know, there's not a lot to do. It's a small town. Well, you know, if you're comparing us to major cities, then yeah, we might not have quite the plethora, but if you venture out and you really get to know the area, you can really get to know all of the things that we do have throughout the year and the various festivals, events, different places to go. There's a lot of best kept secrets or little known secrets in areas that you can do. There's places like Vermilionville and different tours and different facilities. There's a brewery that specializes in having dogs. And so there's different things that you can find that are plenty of entertainment fun for the whole family. Dave and Buster's. So we're getting on the map as far as having more things to do. I think it just takes a little bit of elbow grease and, you know, talking and getting to know people and find out there are some really great things to keep you entertained, but you're gonna have to do a bit more searching. They're not readily available always, or just as easy as some cities to just think of something at a whim. Of course, if you're interested in local music and arts, in some of my other videos I've discussed this, that we have a ton of it. There are plenty of art walks or different facilities, or there's art centers, there's a science museum that we have downtown, so you can definitely find opportunities to find entertainment for your family, to educate you guys and have some fun. You can do research online and find lots of places. I also have a guide if you're new to this area that I could email to you, and it really explains all the best places to eat, things to do, times of year, festivals, live music, where to go. So if you want a copy of that, DM me, email me, I'd be happy to send that over to you. Number 12, the real estate market. Of course, a lot of people are going to ask, real estate agents, so what's the market like in this area? Well, the market is still thriving. Of course, we are not in the place where we are not affected like the rest of the country. High interest rates has changed. The days on market has been longer, but you can still find in that new housing, in that first time home buyer price range, or that median price range, it still can be competitive. There are multiple offers happening every day on different listings. So definitely pick the right agent that can help you to make the right decisions and help you really strategically negotiate and be able to win the deal. But there are some price ranges that are not quite as competitive, which is great. So that 300,000 and above, we're not quite seeing the competition we saw before, of course. So if you're in those markets, you might find that there are more options available, and we have seen more inventory come available, which is great. Of course, be ready, because some of the homes here can be older, or if you choose a historic style of home or an older Acadian style home, you may have to deal with the upkeep of those types of homes. Of course, the humidity in the weather, the brutal sun, the harsh winds that we may have, those things take a toll on your home. So you got to be ready for the upkeep of living down here in Louisiana. So just keep those things in mind, that those are things that you'll have to do. Our grass grows fast because it rains and it's hot here. So, you know, you will have to have some lawn care or care for different, you know, flowers, bushes, trees, things like that. So be aware of that and be ready to maybe even pay for somebody to do those types of work if it's not for you. Number 13 would be the job market. Some people wonder, well, what if I can't find a job here? Or what if there's job fluctuations? Well, you know, that happens with any city. But of course, Lafayette, believe it or not, the jobs are plentiful and there are jobs that are available. There's plenty of different types of businesses. So if you look hard enough, you can obviously find different recruiting centers and places that are still hiring. I'm meeting people all the time that are moving to the area for new medical jobs or for a new tech company working with CGI, for instance, or in the oil field, they're moving here to work for some of these companies. So there are opportunities and there are new businesses that are opening every single day. We have Amazon that came just a couple of years ago and opened a fulfillment center here. And so because of that, they brought hundreds of jobs to the area. I think over 1,000 jobs. So, you know, there are different companies and different facilities that are still coming on board. And so you will find that the job economy is still good here. You can find a job and it is possible. So don't feel too bad. Keep your hopes up. You will be able to find something. Now, some people may say, well, the wages are a bit lower here in Louisiana, which is true. We don't have, I would say, higher wages compared to some of the rest of the country, but I think our expenses are a bit lower than the rest of the country. So I do think there is an offset to that, but it also depends on the job field that you're in. Of course, there are some jobs that do pay extensively better. Number 14 would be the cost of living, and that's a natural concern. If the wages are low, should I worry about that? Well, the cost of living, it being a bit lower than the national average, I think also makes it to where they balance out each other. So I don't think it has to be anything of major worry. The grocery stores and everything that you're seeing, I think is on par with the rest. I don't think you're gonna see astronomical prices or find that it's more expensive to eat or live here. You can find very affordable options. We have grocery stores that are local. We also have places like Aldi, which have great prices on lots of groceries, so you can find affordable options for your living. But of course, if you're moving to the area, maybe have a little cushion in your budget for unexpected costs. If a hurricane, let's say for instance, was to come through this area and there could be a disaster, it may pause some of the work that's happening or different things. Of course, we would get federal help when a situation or disaster happens in that nature or to that extent. But for unforeseen occurrences, I would say why not have a little bit of a safety net with your finances just in case some costs come up that you just weren't prepared for, right? God forbid there could be a flooding situation or just something of that nature. But again, that's what flood insurances or different insurances are for, to help you out, but it could be a fight. But I just say better to be prepared and have that safety net just in case. Number 15 would be inflation. Inflation is affecting everyone, right? It's been a huge part of what's been driving the economy, the interest rates getting higher. Everything seems to be on the rise as far as cost. But the beautiful thing is we have seen inflation come under control for some different areas of our expenses, which is great. So energy costs are coming down just slightly. Rent, we see costs have actually come down just slightly because of the availability of more housing. As inflation continues to happen, you need to be prepared with your finances. So being smart about the way that you spend, right? Making proper investments. That's why it's so important for you to have the right real estate agent, that you buy a home that is not only going to make you you don't want to be house poor, but that you're making a smart investment that in years to come, if you decide that you're going to sell, you would have gotten your money back plus some, built some equity into that property. Then now you have that money to, again, buy another home or even use it for other expenses if needed. Budget well. Look at your money and really decide what are those best options. It will really help you. So for instance, your homeowner's insurance policy, you can shop that and find a better rate. Find reputable companies that will give you a better rate. Auto insurance, the same thing. There are ways that you can find companies or these brokers which will go and help you shop areas to get better prices. All of those things are things that you want to look for and can help you out in your bottom line. So please utilize me as a source of information. I'm more than happy to give you anyone that I know in the area who are reputable and be able to help you find those better rates. Now, I know I have given you guys so many reasons of not to move to Lafayette, Louisiana, but it is to be said that I do live here. I had actually moved away and I moved back about 6 years ago, born and raised from this area. So I do love it. It is special to me and I do think you would love it as well. There are plenty of reasons that outweigh the bad, the good reasons, and you can see that in some of my videos that I've posted before this about it really can be a wonderful place. So don't write it off. I've actually recently made a video about 15 reasons why I love Lafayette. So go ahead and check that out. And I think it would be super helpful for you doing your research and deciding whether or not it's a good fit for you. But of course, if you have any questions about Lafayette, reach out to me, DM me, text me, email me. You can book a call with me. All the information is in my bio, so you'll find everything you're looking for. Remember to subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any videos or updates from me. I want to say thank you so much for supporting and following my channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Y'all have a good one.